Welcome to my show. It's a guest here. His name is Ray Crist. Mr. Ray, how are you doing, sir?
I am really well. I'm very happy to be here.
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity, also, Mr. Ray. Firstly, you are the founder of the Jaguar Path School of Shamasin. Can you please, Mr. Ray, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mr. Ray?
Yeah, I've been working with the Jaguar Path in as a training in a school of shamanism for close to 20 years now. I started out by looking and searching in the world through basically through Mexico and to Peru to find shamans to work with because I was very sick with cancer and I was given only a few months of life. The hospital, the John Hopkins and the National Institute of Health told me that I will probably not survive this. And with that in mind, I started looking to find healers that were outside the medical system that could do a miracle or that somehow could help me. And I've came across some wonderful people. I met many shamans, some that didn't help, some that were wonderful people but couldn't all sorts of people through my travels. In 2006, though, I met up with Don Francisco Flores, who is a shaman called Quero, the Quero Nations people of Peru from the high Andes. And he's an elder there of the tribe. And he took me on as a student. And actually, I fell on my knees and I said, Don Francisco, please save me. I'm dying from cancer. I have a 2-year-old boy back home in Greece, and he will grow up without a father. And I said, save me. He said, heal me. And he said, I can't heal you, but I can train you how to become a shaman and you could heal yourself. And till today, we're very close with Francisco. He is like a father to me. He's like a brother to me. It's just a wonderful, very close relationship that, and of course, he's always my teacher. We've watched our children. I've watched his children grow up. He's watched my son grow up, who's now 23. Um, and we taken a really deep dive. What I feel saved me was the work that I did with him really changed who I was, really changed me deeply. The work of the shamanic work of this tribe is beautiful. It's heart-based, it's earth-based, it's feminine-based, and and that's the essence of it. It's earth-based and feminine. It talks about nourishment. It's about love. It's about understanding your own self and loving yourself. And that was a really big turn for me in my life. So within my in 3 years into my apprenticeship with him, he said, okay, now he would give me tasks to do. Now he said, what you have to do is start teaching this because I had outlived what the doctors had told me that I would live 3 months, and this was like 3 years later. And we're looking at tumors that have disappeared. We're looking at a whole different image of health. I was very, very healthy at that time. So, and I continue to be. And that was a big turn when he told me that I need to, this is what I have to do in order for cancer not to return. Said you have to teach everything you've learned. You can't be selfish. You can't keep it to yourself, or else it will become stale and it will stop serving you. Now you've reached a place where you have to offer it. You can't keep it inside. And that will help you grow deeper into the work itself. So that's how the Jaguar Path was born. And here we are with thousands of students later. And again, close to was it, the Jaguar Path itself over 17 years now with students from around the world.
Hmm.
And here we are. Here we are today.
That is a very, very powerful and beautiful story. Honestly speaking, we do know there are hundreds, if not even thousands, of people who probably have a situation whereby they had cancer and they never survived. They never even got through the situation. But having someone who helped you get through the situation and even trying to give it back to the community, I have to be honest with you, Mr. Ray, it is very, very powerful. It shows the selfless and kind of giving back from the experience you've had, giving it others so that others will also heal from the circumstances is very powerful. And with this powerful experience you've had from your personal experience and what you've learned, have you tried to write any book on that perspective, or are you planning to write any book in the coming future, Mr. Ray?
I hope that a book will come out of it. I've written a lot of pages and have tons of work. At some point, I will hopefully compile it and bring it out to a book. Definitely, definitely. I've written a lot. Uh, it's literally the next chapter is we've been doing different things throughout these several years. There's big chapters of big movements for the whole world with COVID and after. Um, we've recently come back. We've recently come to Greece after 20 years of exploring the world and the shamans and all that. I've returned back to Greece. And now my wife and I, we live here in Epidavros, Greece, which is, we're located right in front of the temple of Hippocrates. And Hippocrates was the first physician, doctor that really established Western medicine, established a turn in what medicine means. So coming here and being in this place now, it feels like I have been appointed um, new tasks to do and to offer. So my studies now, what I'm writing about and what I'm preparing to infuse our school with is this whole part of ancient Greek healing, which is very much of like what we know today as functional medicine. Hippocrates was always referring to medicine, saying we're not treating a disease, we're treating a human being. And what's happened in the medicine today, in Western medicine, is that it's only focusing on disease. And the big drive behind it is, of course, the pharmaceuticals. And I hate to say it, it's a cliche, but it's true. It's billions of dollars of pharmaceutical profit that insist that the healing will only come by a chemical drug that you're prescribed. And we all know enough in these last 3 decades, 4 decades, or at least I do, and we've seen that drugs have such bad side effects, and more often than not. And that many times, and especially when we're talking about cancers, they weren't the answer. They're not the answer. Um, and I will say this as a disclaimer, there are times that a drug, medicine, Western medicine, can save your life. And there's times that it is needed. I don't believe in being extreme, and I've met many people in my life that are skeptics, they claim, on both sides, meaning the sides of people that do Western medicine and only Western medicine, and they're like, oh, I'm a skeptic about any shamanic work or traditional or healing work, or even Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine, which is still practiced today, 7,000 years in the same way, is absolutely shamanic because it refers to shifting energies, and also it is based on we're working with the individual, not the disease. We're only balancing the individual, so we have to know who the individual is. So I'll say this again that I believe that Western medicine saves lives, and it does. And there's definitely a moment that maybe surgery is needed or maybe medicine is needed to save a situation that is acute or a moment of crisis. But overall, the deep healing comes only from deep inner change. We arrive at this ease when we're not walking our path, when we're not living our life as we're meant to live it, when we're not feeling that we're on mission, when we're not feeling that that mission is being delivered, and we're living a different life altogether. the part of our soul, our heart will be suffering because we'll know inside us that we're not doing what we're meant to do. And it's almost like the soul is saying, well, if you're not going to do it now, I'll leave, I'll be reborn again to do it. And I felt in many ways that that's how it was for me. It like hit me really strong when I got my diagnosis in 2003 that I would live for 3 months. It it made me reevaluate my whole entire life and all my choices, as it would for everyone, anyone, right? So in essence, it's almost like a near-death experience that hits you like, I'm dying. Have I done things right? And a lot of, believe me, a lot of things come up. Everything comes up. And the biggest thing that comes up is the mask of personality that you have been comfortable wearing and saying, this is who I am, along with a package of emotions that are hidden inside in different places of the body, that emotions that have not been processed correctly. Emotions that have turned into contracts of behavior that, you know what, because that person betrayed me back then, I will never trust anyone. And you move around, something happens when you're 15, your best friend takes your chocolate, and you consider that a betrayal, or when you're 8 years old, and that's a betrayal at 8. And then you continue living your life with having made a decision, I will never trust people. So we have these contracts in our mind and these pains hidden in different parts and organs of our body that essentially we move around and say it's a personality, but it's not. It's a persona we've cultivated in order to survive the pains we felt, or in order to keep on hiding the things that we want to hide, maybe anger or disappointment or different emotions. And you know what I've learned, the biggest thing that I've learned? And I think maybe it's perhaps the most important thing is to realize that when we live in such a way, we need so much time to manage, and so much energy, rather, I should say, energy and attention to manage all these things, to keep them running. The I'm okay, but, and I have this and this and this and that, and I don't like this and this and that, and I'm afraid of these things. There's so much to manage in the back of the brain that we're left with a 5%, at best case scenario, of attention to live our life. And then because we don't have energy, like we're living with that 5%, we get into a role, like said, oh, I have this job and this is what I'm doing. And we just show up every day and we do 9 to 5 and I do this and this and this. So what happens is we automate our life. We create an autopilot, and it's cool. And you might be a very responsible person and a great father, a great mother, and you show up to work every day and you never miss a day and you're good at your work, at your job, and you da da da, and all that is nice, and you're a nice person. All that is great. The essence, though, is that you're not present and everything is just automatically happening and days are passing. And we don't have the energy to really actually feel how it feels to have 95%, 90, 80%, 80, even have 80% of your energy to be in the present moment. It is stunning, the shift. You realize the colors around you, the light, you realize the material on your desk or even the screen of the computer. Like there is an animation and life force through everything that begins to be apparent. And even more importantly, you're more present for your family, you're more present for every meeting. Like our meeting now, I'm here. At least 85% of me is here. There's nothing. There's some cats that are playing outside my window. They're taking 2% of my attention. There's little things. There's air conditioning taking 1% of my attention. But I'm here in a ways that I didn't know 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was there with people. We were working, we were doing our job, we were talking. It looked like it was the same, but it wasn't. So I'll say that I've learned that shamanism and the power of shamanism
Mm.
is being in the now. Because when you're present, things unfold very differently for everyone that is there. You shamanically have the power. You're changing things to a positive direction for you and those who are around you.
Mm. Thank you so much, Mr. Ray, for the insight. And also, I have to also be honest with you. What you said during this time is very, very powerful. And for those who probably might not really understand, it's the truth is just that this our body. Most of the time, it is the shield. We do always have something that we call the soul that is normally within us. And most of the time, we are being brought to this world to do a lot of things. Most of the time, we are being brought to this world for a personal purpose. We are being brought to this world for us to do a lot of things in the time that we have. But if we are not in line with what we are brought in this world to do, there will be issues. And probably one of it is the health issues. We could have a lot of health issues because what you are brought to do, the message that has been brought, will definitely affect. You are not doing what is meant to be done. And the person might actually, bring out this sickness and everything just start to, overcome. But if we start to do what we are meant to do, have this right purpose, and as you said earlier, I completely agree with you. If we try to ask ourselves the question, what am I doing wrong? Am I really doing the right thing? We will always have questions moving around. And I'm definitely happy you also recovered from the cancer. I'm so much happy. And it is a really, really good, I already say it's a big miracle in my own way, in my own understanding, because even living for years, when the medical people say you're going to live for months, is really, really tremendously powerful. And that shows the kind of body that we have. We need to have the sense of release. We don't need to try to, kind of hold this kind of grudges, not like because this person did this, I'm not going to do this. We have to know our own sense of ways we want to live our life. We have to know the right direction so that every single thing comes along, which is very, very important. And just to make it short, honestly speaking, we are here in this life for something, for us to do something, and we have to figure it out. If we figure it out, then everything follows. But if we are not on the right path, there will definitely be many issues that will always come by the way. And that is always a sign that probably we are not really doing what we are meant to be doing. I also want to sincerely thank you for that insight, Mr. Ray. Also, I would like to dive to this question, Mr. Ray, very quickly. How do you, in your own perspective, on your own experience, define ancient wisdom in context to personal development or healing? And what do you feel are the most powerful ancient tools or practices you work with your coaching when it comes to shamanism, Mr. Ray?
There are ancient wisdom schools are in different parts of the world. Definitely in Africa, definitely in Asia, definitely in South America, and even in Europe in before the Middle Ages. And what we're talking about when we say ancient wisdom and ancient teachings are essentially human beings that got together and said, well, what are we? They sat down and really asked the question, what are we? Who am I beyond who I am in my village, in my city, and my surrounding? What are we doing on this planet that is going across the universe? Most of them came to the conclusion, like Buddha, that said that it doesn't matter what the big picture is, but what really matters is you're here now. How can you be true to yourself?
Yeah.
And how can you live in a relationship with life, with things around you, with everything around you, with human beings around you, with external circumstances around you and inside you? How can you create a relationship that brings you to an optimal experience of life? Because life, we know, life is can be beautiful and it can be very difficult. So from the ancient Greeks, from Hippocrates, who said, know thyself, and you shall know the secrets of all the gods and the whole universe. Know thyself, and you shall know the secrets of all the gods and all the universe. Meaning that if you know who you are moving with the gods in the universe. You're not, life isn't happening to you anymore, but you're understanding what you have in front of you and how to navigate. And I've come into a deeper understanding that what Hippocrates, the ancient Greek shaman, the ancient Greek physician, meant is like understand what you are. And in that, and what I found through shamanic work and through my deep studies in yoga and in Ayurvedic medicine, and in Chinese medicine, and all these yoga, Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, the martial arts, acupuncture, and more, are all shamanic practices in the sense that they all help you attune both the physical body and balance the mind, and then bring those both together to have an attunement, to be able to have the ability to sit in front of your wheel in the helm and say, okay, now I'm guiding my life. My life is not happening to me. It just didn't happen that someone gave me the job and now I go to this job to this work every day and I get my paycheck at the end of the month. All I have to do is go on automatic, 9 to 5 every day or 9 to 9, whatever it is. And if I just repeat every day, I will get my food. Because and sometimes, and of course, there's a lot of jobs like that that are essential and important and may meet and may be the mission of some people. But I think for most people, it becomes an automation um, that loses. It becomes an automation like mine at least had, where they said, okay, well, you've been living. I was 39 years old when I was diagnosed. You had 39 years. What did you do? Because now you have 3 months left. And I'm like, what could I do different? What would I do different? What would I do different? What would it be more important? Because I was stressed because of my work, because that's what I chose. I was in an emotional mess because of going through a divorce. I was living in a very polluted city. Athens, Greece at the time was very polluted. So there was choices in my life that I had made that really made me miserable, and I couldn't see that there was any other life out of that because I thought that's life or that's my life. But when they said, well, you know what, actually it's not your life because you got 90 days and we're pulling you out of this game. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I shouldn't be upset about the divorce. I shouldn't be, I started realizing that my priorities and what I was thinking and feeling and what I was passing hours, endless hours, and all my attention and days and years was really not focusing on what I should. And really led me, the stress and this style of life led me to cancer, of course. And that's where I feel that the shamanic work was a great gift. You know, on one hand, and this is really important to note, what I thought is that I'm going to go and this shaman is a powerful healer. He's going to touch me in my head or in my kidneys where my cancer was or whatever, and he will make it disappear. But he was very clear. He said, no, I cannot heal you, but I can train you to become a shaman and you could heal yourself. And train you to become a shaman is almost like training you to know yourself. And that's the training I feel I got. Yes, there was tools that we used to remove things, to get energy working, but the multitude of work that I've learned and I teach is about understanding myself and where I picked up my patterns and what patterns and what spider webs I'm caught and thinking that that's my only reality. Because we get caught that this is my only reality, so we don't make any changes. And because we don't have the attention, as I was saying earlier, we don't have the energy to say, well, you know what? I'm quitting my job. You know what? I'm going to be happy with this. Even if I'm going through a divorce, I'm going to make things to make me happy because I'm making this divorce because either because I've decided or the other person decided, it doesn't matter. Now I begin a new life. How can I make myself healthy and happy? I thought I didn't have choices. And we go around in life and we say, well, we only have so many choices. And that is not true. as it turns out.
Mm.
Because when I had 90 days, I said bye, everybody. I took a backpack
Mm.
and I walked away for my entire life. And nothing was a problem. Nothing fell apart. And to be
Mm.
honest, it's like people said, oh, come on, it's okay. Everyone went along with their life as they would if I died.
Yeah.
The people I had problems with or fights with or this or that, they would all forget me.
Yeah.
So I realized and really came to deeper understanding, and this is the training of becoming a shaman. And this is really important to know. It all begins with self-love.
Yeah.
It all begins with self-love. And I'm like, I love myself. He said, well, why are you spending so much time in anger? Why are you spending so much time in regret? Why are you spending so much time in stress? This is not loving yourself.
Yes.
Being angry at my wife, I put being angry at my ex-wife on the priority of being calm and loving to myself. I would get in these moments of being upset and this, and I would tell my friends, and she did this and she did that. Those stories that were of no essence.
Yeah.
Because the shaman says, well, if there's a person that's doing something you don't like, say, namaste, lots of love and good luck to you with
Mm.
everything. This is not working for me and move. But we're caught. We're caught and we think we can't. Um, so so ancient teachings in the modern world, if I'm answering the question,
Yeah.
ancient teachings are good in all the worlds at all times and are teaching essentially a deeper understanding of what we are as beings. Like I understand now, been close to 20 years with these men and women and being deep in this tribe and been initiated by them. The biggest change is like I understand more who I am and I'm making choices based on navigating where I want to be,
Mm.
not what's happening outside me, where
Yes.
I want to be. So, and coming back again, and I live on
Mm.
purpose. Like I have this mandate.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to a job getting money, but rather I wake up every day and my purpose, my mission is to share this with other people.
Yes.
I'm doing work for, you could say for God, I'm doing work for the earth, for Mother Earth. I'm doing
Yeah.
work for every human being because so when you're doing now this kind of work, accidentally on purpose insult me, and I look up and say, so you say, Ray, blah, blah, something. I don't like that. And I
Yes.
look, it doesn't matter to me. If I need to correct myself for some reason, I
Yeah.
will. If it was something I did, I will immediately look into it. I won't defend
Mm.
myself. I will not defend myself. So in not defending myself, I will immediately see. I will apologize if it's something I did wrong.
Yes.
Or if it's something that they're out of line with, I can say, it's okay, apologies, sorry, and immediately move on because I have things to do. I can't sit
Exactly.
analyze and be in my emotional head in my head, living and reliving. And I should have said that. And why did he say that? And da da da. And I'm going to tell my friends that, and I'm going to put it on Facebook, and living a life. And I'm like weaving a life that doesn't exist of sparks of different emotions
Mm.
and of a what is called in yoga, the yoga world, samsara. It's an illusionary world that I create around me that is embroidered with all my emotions about how I feel things. But that's not reality.
Yes.
But if you let go of those, funny thing is we don't let go of this because we feel we protect ourselves, right? So I'm going to keep my anger because if I ever meet a person like that, I'll know it immediately. You know what happens? With my anger, I can only meet this kind of people.
Exactly.
If I
Yeah.
forgive and I'm living in love and I'm in a mission and I'm going to work with something important, I am love and I will meet the
Exactly.
right people.
Completely agree with you, Mr. Ray. Honestly speaking, what you said currently now is very powerful. And also, that shows the teaching of the philosophy that you've had. It shows that that teaching is very important. It really shows the essential and the importance of our body. This body is just here, and that's what a lot of people do not understand. This body is here for just the main time. It is here for something to be done. And if we do not try to take care of it well, then definitely it won't go in the right way. And that is why self-love is very important. Learning how to learn to tender apology. When someone has love his or herself, and he or she wants to use that to improve his or herself in a lot of circumstances. There will not be ways for someone to be thinking about one person offended me or angry about one person. Just tender apology and just move on. And that is the beauty of this world. When self-love is there, every single thing just continue to follow. The purpose that one is brought on earth to do follows, and everything works easily. And that is the beauty of the life. And if this thing that we're saying, I have to be honest with you, Mr. Ray, if a lot of people know about it, I think the world will really be in a very better place. I have to be honest with you, because a lot of people are just depressed, a lot of people are committing suicide, a lot of things are happening. Lots are happening currently in our time, and we do need teachings like this. Thank you so much for the insight, Mr. Ray. Shortly, Mr. Ray, there's a question I normally ask during the end of the show. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our ancestral time that is missing in our time today, Mr. Ray. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Mr. Ray, what do you think that thing would be, Mr. Ray?
It really is a beautiful question. And, I'm reflecting on what you're saying about how difficult it is for so many people. And it has been being in the body, living in what we call time, has a friction to it, has pain, has physical pain, has emotional pain, has difficulty. And as you ask me this question, I'm going through the list of saints and or gods and goddesses, or I'm thinking Christ would be great, or we're thinking Buddha would be great to bring back, or I'm thinking, but the truth is that even when they were here, they were all just saying, bring yourself back, bring yourself back, bring consciousness to this moment, to this moment right now. If we could all live like this, and this is what being shamanic living shamanically, or being enlightened, or being walking like Christ, or walking like Buddha. It's just like there is nothing else that exists outside this moment. And it's so difficult for people to understand, yet it is just the only absolute truth. It's the only absolute truth. So I want to say that who should I bring back that has a big enough megaphone to remind everyone? Because they came and they were here and they said all these things, and they didn't catch these things. And I'm sure there's beautiful gods and goddesses in Africa, and beautiful spirits in Africa that need to be revived. In every location, the gods and goddesses of ancient times should be alive. Like, so I would say that I can't bring one ancestor back. I would like to bring back all the ancestors of each location. Because if we go back to 2,000, 3,000 years and before, we could see that throughout the planet, there's polytheism with many gods in each religion, which essentially describe the uh, reality itself. It describes the phenomenon, the physical phenomenon. It describes the elements. They describe each god represents something. And we've come as whatever modern
Yeah.
of this modern. This time we're modern because we'll be ancient soon enough. In a
Mm,
thousand years, we'll be not modern. We think ahead of times because we have this wrong notion of time. We think we're ahead of the ancient ones, and we're not. We
exactly.
think we've progressed, or we've evolved, and we're not. And I've heard so many times from so many people that, oh, people in the past were very naive. They were not as smart as we are. They thought that there was 12 gods in Mount Olympus in Greece, or that there was 100 gods up in Tibet,
Yes.
with Hinduism,
Yeah.
and it's just so not the case. They created a system, a cosmology that explains things that fit in your head, and then gives you archetypes to work with. So you're not sitting there alone. Archetypes to be, and ways to navigate life. to tap into this. Like if I can tap into, let's say, my Christ, or if I can tap into Buddha, then I
Yeah.
can live a very different life and not be trapped in that old Ray who thought that, oh, I'm an angry person because so and so did wrong, and I am this and I'm that, and
Exactly.
all these things that are not archetypes. So may all the ancestors be revived in every human being, and
Hmm.
maybe especially for those who are of lineage of the place we're born into.
Honestly speaking, that is very beautiful. I have to be honest with you, Mr. Ray. You know, our ancestors have done a lot of great things, and definitely we do need something we can hold on to. It's definitely help us in a very long way, whether it is Christ or Buddhism, as you said. Anything that we do know that is really strong, it is something that is very important. We can try to hold on to. It's very important in the life we find ourselves currently. I also want to use this opportunity to thank you for the time and the opportunity you've given to me on speaking on these areas. Thank you so much, Mr. Ray. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank
All right.
you.
Have a wonderful day, Mr. Ray. Bye bye.
Bye.